6 minutes after the hour of 6 a.m. It's Thursday, August 8th, 2019, 61 degrees outside. Jay Matobin on the line with me from Vancouver, British Columbia. Half man, half amazing. Tom Eaglehoff, your morning mayor.
And Tom it's my turn. Tom Eaglehoff, the morning mayor of the Gallatin Valley and host of the show, who makes everything possible and makes us all glow.
That's right. And that show, of course, that Shane's alluding to is the KMMS Morning Soapbox with who? Tom and Shane. Who else could do this like we do?
The cartoon show coming to you soon.
That's right. Hey, if we were a department store, we'd be the toy department.
That's right.
That's from the guy who used to do sports on KMMS years ago, Chevalier.
Chevalier.
I forget what his first name was, but anyway. Well, what?
See, the ESPN dumped the trailer for this movie called The Hunting. It's a version. It's like a movie about liberals, progressive liberals, hunting people, hunting people.
Yeah.
And it's Trump supporters they've kidnapped, people homeless and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
It's so bad that they can't believe theaters are still trying to decide whether they want to even have it in their theater.
I can't imagine. I had no idea that most Trump supporters were homeless. I didn't know that.
But, these things take 4 or 5 years, to get in the can.
Well, Jean-Claude Van Damme was in a movie like that where they were people were paid to hunt. They picked derelicts, homeless, whatever. They went out and shot them all. And if they got away, they got a bunch of money. But if they didn't, they lost the money and their lives. So.
Well, he kicked all their booties.
Well, he did. Yeah, that was that was what you'd have to have in this movie for or a church has to follow the bad guys or something.
Yeah, exactly.
to make it correct for the viewing audience. We can't crooks never get away with it.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. What if who was it? Al Pacino in he's out there hollering Attica, Attica, Attica.
Yeah.
What if he'd start shooting people and just throwing them out in the street? Do you think they would have wasted any time getting him a plane or a bus or whatever the heck he wanted?
Well, the incredible thing is I was doing some research and, even though I know how bad the Jim Crow laws were by the Democrats, but, even though the murders that were occurring in the South of your country, 100 years ago,
yeah,
there weren't anywhere near the numbers that are dying in Chicago and Baltimore and Philadelphia. And this is scary. This is so scary. Unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, in relationship to what you just mentioned, Shane, from our text line 478-8298. Good morning, guys. I checked out the video of Democratic Socialist powwow from last weekend where you played the audio yesterday. It was pure comedic gold. These fools want to start a revolution, but they can't even start a microwave. And that's from David. So we thank you, David, for stating the obvious.
That's right.
I watched. We just played a 50-second clip yesterday. If you didn't hear it, it's on our recording for yesterday at KMMSAM.com. Just go to Tom and Shane's podcast, and you'll see it in there. It's in the third hour, I believe we did it. But yes. It was pretty funny. And it just got worse and worse. And I don't know if anybody missed it, but when yesterday in the clip, when the guy was talking about could everybody keep the chatter and the whispering down because I have sensory overload, I can't focus, and the person on the person that was running the meeting said, "Thank you, comrade." So I thought, okay, here we go.
It's like they had, it's just like they had no idea what went on. I mean, there was a civil war when that took place in Russia 100 years ago between white Russians and red Russians.
Mm-hmm.
And, there was 500,000 people died in that civil war.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, it's like a bunch of children doing a church play.
Well, they're all trying to up each other with how much, what kind of a soundbite can I generate?
That's right.
You know, and we talked about yesterday, they wouldn't allow clapping, no clapping. You did the jazz fingers in the air, you know, put your hands up and shake your fingers. That was the applause. So
if you shook a finger at me,
yeah.
Mr. Eagle, I would go nuts.
That's right. I know my place here when it comes to you. All right. Well, let's take a look at our weather. We're kind of getting behind ourselves here this morning. So
it's Thursday. We're supposed to.
That's
great.
true. Yeah, we're on the downward slide toward the weekend. So that's a good deal. Well, today, we got rain for the next 4 days, Shane. we got 60% chance of rain today. We're going to have a chance of just a chance of showers and thunderstorms before 3 p.m. and then it gets serious. Showers are likely and possibly a thunderstorm sometime between 3 and 4, and then it's going to be reduced back to a chance of showers after 4. And but it's going to be mostly sunny with a high of 87 as the rain comes and goes around the area. But there is a 60% chance of precip probably around 3 or 4 or 5 o'clock for your commute home. And tonight we've also got a slight chance of showers and thunderstorms. Then showers likely and possible thunderstorm after 7 o'clock tonight. And we're looking for a low of around 60 and a chance of precip is 70%. So that's what you got to look forward to for tonight. And the other bad news is it's going to rain till Monday. So
of course it is.
And the temperature's going to drop too. We're looking for Friday to be a high of 77, Saturday 78, and PM thunderstorms, of course, on Saturday. Rain on Friday most of the day. And Sunday, 75, temperatures go down a little lower. It'll be pretty nice out, but you'll be wet. So you can sit on the porch if you got one of those sunset or awnings or whatever they advertise on TV.
You know, it's so dry in the Gallatin Valley, though, that even when it rains, you don't have any humidity.
We're pretty lucky here that we don't have high humidity like they do in the Midwest and the South and wherever. Yeah, it's pretty nice here. So, if it gets into the 80s and 90s, we're not drenched in sweat.
And even if it's raining, you have no humidity.
Well, not much anyway. Yeah, it's pretty good. So. High on Sunday, 75 degrees, and Monday, 74. And then it starts warming up. Tuesday, 78, Wednesday, 79, and then back into the 80s by next weekend. And not too much rain after Monday. We're going to be pretty nice during the week. Temperatures around the area right now, Livingston is 59 degrees. Manhattan is 57. Three Forks, 56. Let's see, Gallatin Gateway is 59, Annis is 59, Big Sky is 54. At the airport in Belgrade is 59. We're right at 62 degrees here in our downtown studios in Bozeman, and that will take care of your weather for this morning. So, and on this day in history, oh my gosh, 1815, Napoleon, what a guy, little short guy, dictator, whatever. He set sail for St. Helena in the South Atlantic to spend the remainder of his days in exile.
Yeah, this is like the comeback kid of the 1800s, right?
Yeah, he came back 2 or 3 times. But the last time didn't work for him very well.
Yeah, those little guys with little hands, they seem to have quite the ego, and he did have a big one. But you have to... give him props because they still use his laws that he wrote all the code. He rewrote the French law code for France, and still use it to this day. And he's a prolific writer, of letters and books. I mean, he was a pretty brilliant guy. You can't get to where you get from being a lieutenant.
Yeah, you got to be able to.
In a Paris riot, Paris riot, in charge of 3 cannon. To Emperor of Europe, that's a pretty good launch.
Yeah, that was. That wasn't bad, was it?
Yeah, that's what you call a political campaign.
Well, on this date in 1844, Brigham Young was chosen to lead the Mormon church following the killing of Joseph Smith.
That's right. Mr. Smith didn't quite make it to, I was going to say Washington, but I meant Utah.
Yeah, he didn't make it to Salt Lake. And Brigham Young, of course, the university there named after him.
Yes, indeed. And remember, he got them to build the first temple in Ohio, which is one of the largest populated states is Ohio of Mormons, aside from Utah.
From Utah, yeah. All right, I'm going to be very careful with the button this morning and see if we can get the Montana News and Agriculture for you. I don't know what happened yesterday. I hit it once and it just went right to the commercials. So I'm going to be very delicate with it this morning and make sure that we don't do anything wrong.
Here comes a Tom finger.
Here comes your Montana News and Agriculture, I hope. 23 minutes after the hour of 6 a.m. It's Thursday, August 8th, 2019, 62 degrees outside. Shane Taubman on the line with me from Vancouver, British Columbia. And Tom Eagle, your morning mayor in the house. Welcome to the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. Stephanie Whittleswax.
What a name.
What a name. If she would leave the Whittles out, she could just, the name of her show could be Stephanie Wax Nostalgic.
Yeah, wax on, wax off. Remember?
That's it, yeah. Wax on, wax off. That'd be the beginning. Wax on, here I am.
Last night, another interview, I think McCallum had Williams on, that's running for president.
Yeah. I saw that one, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Boy, did she sound like a goof. I mean, the minute she denied pictures of the Obama administration with kids in cages, I thought, uh-oh.
Yeah.
I lost her. All this time, I thought she could make it, and no.
Well, they ignore that because there wasn't so many. Obama didn't have 100,000 or people coming a month.
Well, but that's because he sent 800,000 back.
Well,
they don't want to talk about that either.
Well, they didn't come because he sent them back. That's the reason. And
that's right.
Now that the judges have declared open borders no matter what.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, in 1876 on this day, Thomas Edison received a patent for the mimeograph, and this guy had more patents than the Microsoft
he
does,
still
I
holds
guess.
the record of the most personal patents in the United States. I mean, he transformed the United States with electricity, and it was either going to be him or Tesla, and he made it.
Yeah.
And created the General Electric Company, and ultimately Westinghouse, I believe. He started Westinghouse.
And totally revolutionized
everything.
Everything,
movies,
yeah.
Motion picture camera, the phonograph, the light bulb, the electrical power generation, mass communication, sound recording.
Boy, he just had it all, man. We wouldn't be here without him and Marconi, I guess.
Imagine if they had drafted him in the Civil War, or in the Civil War, and he's born in 1847, so he would have been enough to fight in the Civil War.
Yeah, what if he died in the Civil War? Where would we be today? Wow.
Yeah, wow, it's scary thought, isn't it?
Yeah, if this guy wasn't there, our whole history is dramatically different.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right.
I mean, he worked with Henry Ford and Harvey Firestone to produce the first tires,
Yeah.
Because up until that time, they were using wood for tires.
Who's the only president with a patent? Abraham Lincoln.
That's right, Abraham Lincoln. Yeah, good call, Eagle Man.
This is no downstream operation going on here.
No.
1945, President Harry S. Truman signed the United Nations Charter, and nobody has adhered to it since.
No, and that's what's so sad about it. Really.
It's almost like our Constitution. You have the freedom to do this. Women have freedom and all that, and not so. I'm sorry. And the UN doesn't back it up in any way, shape, or form. They are a losing group. I don't know.
And the whole idea was for it to be a global group, but it isn't. It's a Security Council that controls it all, right?
Well, yeah. So, and you've got, 3 communist nations on there pretty much that vote everything down that anybody wants us, not a total dictator.
And vote, and France always, they pass. They can't decide who to vote with.
That's true. 1945, Soviet Union declared war against Japan during World War II.
Now, this is important, folks, because now think about this. What day did the Americans drop the nuclear bomb on Japan? Well, August 9th, 1945 was when the Soviets declared war against the Japanese. They'd done nothing to fight them, and they immediately invaded North Korea, which they took over. Several islands of the, the Japanese nation they grabbed. And that was the extent of the war the Soviets fought in the Pacific. And
yeah, I was going to say they were mostly in Europe. They were very, very small forces in the Atlantic.
Oh no, he had massive forces in because of China, because he was worried about China. But
well, yeah,
that's why he wanted Korea, and he grabbed Korea.
Yeah.
So anyway.
1963, Britain's Great Train Robbery took place as thieves made off with 2.6 million pounds in banknotes from a train they stopped north of London. 2.6 million in 1963.
Yeah, it'd be worth about 200 million today.
Yeah. And I don't know if they were ever caught or not.
Some were caught, but they never recovered the money.
Ah.
There you go.
Well, that accounts for you and I being well off, huh? 1968, Richard M. Nixon was nominated for president at the Republican National Convention in Miami Beach and chose Maryland Governor Spiro T. Agnew to be his running mate.
And, of course, the big thing about that is Spiro was the junkyard dog. He chased everybody until all of a sudden, nobody vetted him apparently, and then they found out he was a crook, and they had to get rid of him. But you knew once they got rid of him, they're going to get rid of Nixon, that's for sure.
Yep. Well, Gerald Ford took Spiro Agnew's place and then, of course, became president when Nixon resigned, and making Ford the only vice president and president that was not elected by the American people.
How incredible is that?
Pretty impressive. So
a guy that started out with the last name King.
Yep. But can't be President King. That won't work.
Yes.
All right, we've got to take a break here, and we'll be right back with more stuff. We got Montana State News, Fox News. We've got the weekday weather with Brady Brewster. We've got Gazoo Night with Jacobus is here as well. Windows by Anderson, all kinds of things. So stay tuned. We'll be right back with local news right after this. 23 minutes for the top of the hour. It's Thursday, August 8th, 2019, 61 degrees outside. Shane Matavin on the line with me, half man, half amazing, and Tom Eagleoff, your morning mayor. And our poll question of the day, do you believe in evolution? You can go over and vote at KMMSAM.com or on your smartphone at AM 1450 KMMS on your smart app. And you can also app chat with us as well over there. It's much easier than going to the text line. All you have to do is push the button next to the listen button, and you're there. And it comes directly to us. And we will be happy to entertain your thoughts either way. So by all means, we're ready to rock and roll here. In local news, well, it's no surprise. Gallatin Schools see big jumps in property values. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago, that, property's gone up 19% in Bozeman, 23% in Big Sky, 24% in Belgrade. Home prices are rising in the area, and every 2 years, the tax man updates its appraisal of each property to reflect those rising values. So for Gallatin High School districts, the market value of all property totals $23 billion. That's up 16.5 from last year, Shane. Wow, $23 billion. And the increase range from a modest 3.6 in Willow Creek to 12% in the Three Forks High School district, nearly 17% in Manhattan, and West Yellowstone, 23%, and Big Sky, 24% in Belgrade. Wow, that's some jumps.
It's a big number, and it's a measure of wealth that your country needs because of everybody's view of retirement. Because ultimately, your principal home becomes your retirement fund.
Yeah. Well, in spite of the 19% leap in Bozeman School District, Michael Waterman, the district business services director, says taxes will not go up that much. Well, I don't know. A lot of people got their tax bill, and it was a sticker shock to them. So I don't know about that. But anyway, tax bills for school, the biggest chunk of people's property tax bills depend on two things: the tax rate set by school boards and whether the value of your house has increased more or less than your neighbors or the district's average. So the school's tax rate is likely to be lower, but everybody's house is worth more. And I don't think it works that way. I don't know. I'm going to wait. I think the jury's still out on that.
Yeah, and when I hear when I hear someone like that who probably makes 150 grand,
right? Yeah,
job,
I was gonna say,
that's the only reason.
Not my problem. It doesn't affect me all that much. I can afford it, so
it doesn't go up that much for me.
But I remember when the tax bills came out, the phones were ringing off the hook as to what the heck's going on here. Kraus was in here talking about it, and everybody was up in arms, and still are probably. So, but at any rate, we'll see how it all plays out. But right now, I've got to take a quick break. You want to hear from Murdoch's and babble, of course. Let's babble while we're at it. So we'll be right back right after this. 17 minutes for the top of the hour. It's Thursday, August 8, 2019. 61 degrees outside, looking for a high of 85 degrees today. And, health officials are questioning the EPA plan to delist Bozeman Superfund site. And I don't know if you realize we had a couple of Superfund sites here, Shane.
Well, and you get federal grants to clean it up. So
supposedly, yeah. The Gallatin Board of Health and Gallatin Water Quality Board question a federal proposal to pull the majority of a former wood treating facility in northeast Bozeman off the national list of contaminated sites. This was the old log company out there by Cedar Street near the railroad and Interstate 90. And they used to process wood out there. And the other one, of course, is where Hobby Lobby is going in now. We had a dry cleaners there that dumped a whole bunch of their cleaning solvents into the ground there. So that was another site that was in question some time back. But anyway, the board's question how deep EPA's testing has gone. They're talking about just removing the topsoil off of that and not really going down to the water and the other areas there. So. Mike Kelly, the Gallatin County Public Health Officer, said the boards also want to know what happened to an estimated 327,000 gallons worth of petroleum products that leaked in the area. So we're does that make the water go down easier so when it's greased?
That's right.
Yeah. So anyway, I guess they're going to talk to the EPA about this. They questioned an EPA official for more than 2 hours, and the combined boards unanimously voted to submit their concerns to the EPA and ask the agency to extend public comment on their proposal into September. So we'll see if how that comes out. So that is a pretty big deal. Bullock also made the news. He says the Dems are at risk of losing to Trump. What a surprise. Can't believe it. I believe I can speak to folks who live in gun country. I know their hearts, and their hearts are not with white supremacists and domestic terrorists. So he's playing up to folks here in Montana that although we have had our share of white supremacists and Aryan nations and everybody else here, so by all means, do your best, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, he's also one of these people 6 months ago saying, there's no national emergency at the border. There's no national emergency at the border. Oh, there's a national emergency at the border.
Yeah, right. Yeah. There we are. Well, and getting back to this affordable housing stuff and the taxes on housing, I have come up with the answer, Shane, to affordable housing. I mean, this is a no-brainer.
An Eagleman solution.
This,
all right.
This is easy peasy.
Okay.
But it's going to require the cooperation of all the media in Bozeman and the surrounding area. We're going to need all the TV stations, all the radio stations. I've talked to Dave Wooten over at XL Country. He's all over this deal. All we have to do is shower the area with news that Bozeman, Livingston, Manhattan, Three Forks, Belgrade, West Yellowstone, whatever, whole area.
Right.
Earthquake prone. Property values will plummet. People will move out.
Perfect.
No one will want to live here. You can buy a home for $75, like in Detroit.
Yeah, exactly.
They'll be bulldozing. They'll be bulldozing Wilson Boulevard down.
I'll get on that. I'll study the super volcano value or concern for Yellowstone Park, so everybody knows.
That's it, man. You can get the
I'll get it done.
you can get the story mansion for $100.
Yeah. What a deal.
This is great. I tell you.
Or 130 Canadian.
Well, yeah. Well, that's true. Yeah. Got to pay more for that, but yeah, I've got the answer to the housing crisis here. It's a no-brainer. It would take a couple weeks. We get the travel agencies. Sure you want to move here?
Well, the interesting thing too, though, is that there's a school up at the university with some professors that study volcano,
Sure,
or volcanics, and we should check into their reports and see what they say about Yellowstone. And you could take that report to the tax commissioner and say, you're overvaluing these homes. Look, we're in an earthquake zone, and you can't. You have to allow for this because you're not considering this in the pricing of homes. Yeah, that's brilliant idea. Brilliant.
Well, and also too, the houses weren't built to earthquake code.
That's right.
Houses aren't going to stand 9-point earthquake, which is we'll just say it'll happen in February. Yeah, get out while you can. we're predicting this. But I think that's the answer. All you have to do is figure out a way to devalue property, and earthquakes would be one easy way to do it. And all the TV stations have to get together and just keep reporting earthquakes daily in the area. Your good China history.
Yeah, move from Russia to racist to earthquake.
Absolutely, that will do it, man. There's no way, but. Yeah, well, in other news, as we talked about earlier, rapid growth in Gallatin County has brought an increase in the number of taxable properties and an increase in property values. So based on state data released this week, the county received $13.2 million in newly taxable properties this year. And that'll provide about $960,000 in new tax revenue, nearly a million to the finance people here. And the value of newly taxable property is higher this year than in the past several years, when it averaged about $10 million annually, according to the Montana Department of Revenue. So the Gallatin County commissioners use the new tax revenue for one-time expenses such as new equipment and building improvements. So this is because they can't predict how much new tax revenue they will receive in a given year, and therefore don't want to rely on it for the county's ongoing needs. So.
Sure, they don't. Like, they have no idea. Like, give me a break. That's their job to know.
Well, that's true. The county's rapid growth has also contributed to a jump in property tax values, which the Department of Revenue began releasing this spring, and that we talked about that earlier. Residential property tax values increased 23%. Commercial property tax values went up 19%. And between 2018 and 2019, the numbers are well above the state's average increase of 12.5 for residential and 9.9 for commercial. So there you go. And let's see, from our text line, 4788298, property values will go down in earthquake-prone areas. You mean like California? Yeah, I thought of California. Well, they don't promote it enough. Everybody knows there's earthquakes in California. They don't know about it being here. So, all right.
Their fires don't even cause
Their fires don't even keep people away. So we're going to have to, that's what I say. This has got to be a conscious effort by all of us here. If we want property values to go down, then we're going to have to promote this heavily. So, all right. So don't give me negatives. I only want positives on how to do this. So.
That's right. Exactly.
All right. We got to take a very quick break. We'll only be out for a minute. We'll be right back. 8 minutes before the top of the hour. It is Thursday, August 8, 2019. Open lines all day long. Shane Matobin on the line in Vancouver, British Columbia. Half man, half amazing. Tom Eagle-Off, your morning mayor in the house. And this is the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. And Let's see, from our text line, we got some other texts coming in here. Let's see. Well, we were talking about red flag laws yesterday. Vets being treated for PTSD will be targeted for red flag laws. What do you think, Shane?
Wow, it just try to come up with a solution that'll chill the air, right?
Didn't Nancy say everybody coming back from the war was ought to be quarantined for a while or something like that? I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Something like that. But yeah, if you didn't know what red flag laws are, those are they've been passed in several states that sort of throw your constitutional rights right out the window.
16 states.
Yeah, in 6 states.
16
states. I'm sorry. All it says is that if somebody deems you a danger to yourself or others, they have the right to come in and confiscate your weapons and other things, depending on whatever the state law covers. But yeah, you don't have any rights under red flag laws. If somebody thinks you're a nutcase, the burden of proof is on you.
I know. Go take a call.
Yeah, let's take a phone call. 522-TALK is the number. Caller, you're on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's up?
Hi, this is Kevin.
Hey, Kevin.
Not the usual Kevin caller. This is the first-time caller.
Okay, well, we're glad you're a first-time caller, Kevin. Welcome to the show. Thank you for calling. Thanks for listening.
I had another local statewide news story.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys heard about that guy at the rodeo that threw that kid down.
No.
For not taking his hat off during the National Anthem.
Okay. was this a parent or was it just a bystander?
Just a bystander.
Oh, okay. So,
but the new news I heard today on NPR was that his lawyer is using the defense that he was following orders from President Trump.
To keep his hat on? or the guy who smacked the kid.
The guy that smacked the kid.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. Now we got it, I think.
So I was wondering if we could run that one by the law, babe.
Oh yeah, we could run. Yeah, she'll be in tomorrow. I'll make a note of that. We'll try and find out where. Was that story in one of the papers or it was on NPR? I guess you said.
Montana. I don't know where. I can't remember where.
Okay.
But I just wonder what happened to personal responsibility when you got apparently the president to blame for everything now.
Well, that's certainly true.
So yeah, another local story. So I don't know.
Well, that's what we're here for. We like local stuff. So I will. I made a note on it for tomorrow's notes to ask the law babe about that and see what I'm assuming that be assault
oh,
for
yeah,
sure.
No, it was assault on a minor.
Yeah, and on a minor makes it.
I think he fractured his skull actually.
Ouch! Wow. Okay. Well, yeah.
But I don't think that's a good enough defense there.
No, Trump made me do it. Doesn't work. I don't think.
So yeah, I just want to see what she thinks on that defense.
Yeah. I think she'll say she would gladly take that case. I bet, because I think there'd be some big bucks if the guy.
Oh, and apparently he had been charged with assault before too. So
oh, okay. Well,
not his first time.
Okay. Well. Okay.
All right.
Hey, thanks a lot. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it. All right. Well, that's a story we need to follow up on, Shane. So maybe we can find some info on that between now and tomorrow, and we can check with Jennifer on that. So from our
you'll have to text her so she's prepared.
That's true. I will. Let's see. From our text line 478-8298. Only one thing lowers property values immediately. That would be blacks. No, I don't think so.
I don't think
so. Let's see what else we got here. So we older taxpayers can't expect a decrease in the mill levy. That's from Bob. Probably not, Bob. These things never go down, I mean, or rarely. If they do go down, another tax comes along to replace it. So
that's right.
I was going to say, once a levy expires or whatever, we got to replace that. We got to get that income back somewhere. So
time to search for another problem to pay for.
How many barbecues are there in Bozeman? We'll take care of that. All right. So let's see. Let's see. Yeah, we did the earthquakes in wherever. My taxes went up with the Trump tax giveaway to billionaires. I'm bored of winning. Never thought I'd wish for Obama back as bad as he was. Well, if your taxes went up, the brackets, you're paying less. So I think it's your fault if your taxes went up. So
exactly.
I don't know. So anyway.
Okay.
That takes care of that. All right, back to other news we need to talk about here. One is that Yellowstone National Park employee pleads guilty to starting a July fire. He flipped a cigarette and then lied about it and burned 4 acres or so of at the park's north entrance.
Well, I read that article, and the one thing I found interesting about the article is that they didn't tell you where the employee was from. I mean,
yeah, he was a seasonal concessionaire employee, but they didn't.
I'm curious to know what state he's from.
Yeah, I know. Well, I met a guy from Taiwan on an airplane flight. I think I've told you about in the past, who worked 2 summers here, and we would get together every time he came to Bozeman. And he's graduated from the university in Taiwan in some high end. You got to be double smart to do it, whatever he's doing. But anyway, his name doesn't give us much of a clue. Curtis Fostich, I guess, doesn't really give us much clue. He's probably American, I guess, but
I would assume.
I would assume so, but you don't know. So anyway, I guess we'll have to let that one sit for now. Because we've got bigger fish to fry coming up. So,
got it, baby.
We got more local news to cover, and then we've got to do. We've got to do some more stuff, and later on we'll do the 5 things you need to know. And we come back at the top of the hour. We want to talk about the FBI and Peter Strzok. And
yes.
And also climate change. We've got climate change. We found an interesting article the other day, and we want to kind of go over some of that with you. So we'll be doing that when we come back at the top of the hour, or after the top of the hour, I should say. So stay tuned. A lot more to come on KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. We'll be back after the news. Welcome back, everyone. 4 minutes after the hour of 7 a.m. It's Thursday, August 8th, 2019, and 62 degrees outside. We're looking for a high of 85. And Shane, the texters have set several news items, both from CBS News and Microsoft News and everybody else on this kid. And one of the articles claims that the perpetrator, I guess, grabbed the kid and slammed him to the ground and fractured his skull, had a brain injury from a 2000 car accident. He was he's a veteran and felt, he was following Trump's orders, but I'm not sure if that's going to fly in court.
Yeah.
I don't know. But anyway, we appreciate everybody. Yeah, they've set several things in. I will forward these stories to Jennifer today, and maybe we can get her thoughts on this tomorrow as to what is assault, and is there a difference between assaulting an adult and assaulting a minor? I would think a minor would carry a tougher sentence than assaulting an adult. I don't know, I guess, and I don't know if there's various levels of assault. I know there's felony assault, there is misdemeanor assault, but if you fracture a kid's head, I would think that raises the ante a little bit.
Yeah, well, it's been pretty much a state issue in your country. The Supreme Court's never really taken up a case about it, so yeah. I think every state's different as far as their state laws are covered. But I just want to cover one thing before you get to Strzok, and that is we talked about it yesterday and didn't get a chance to talk about it. So students being given, I couldn't believe when we talked about this and I went and looked at it. Pennsylvania, Cads Ford, Pennsylvania, St. Cornelius. They're giving the students preparing for high school bulletproof shield backpacks.
Yeah.
And man, I'll tell you, I have to, it's got a 10 by 12-inch plate in it. And how fast did Bezos responded? I went on Amazon to see how fast Amazon responded. And, they're saying that these things will cost up to $350. Not on Amazon. So, I found one on Amazon. These are Canadian prices, $52 Canadian. So that's like, $35 US, $129 and $47. And there's another half a dozen different types. But then I went and I wanted to check out about something else. And this is fascinating. Rice University and MIT have developed for the super soldier of the future, razor thin armor that's impervious to bullets. And so it's a structured polymer composite. Oops, without oil, you can't make it.
Yeah.
Made of alternating rubbery and glass layers that can absorb the kinetic energy from high impact assault bullets with startling efficiency. So I guess in the future, kids will have bulletproof uniforms to protect them.
Well, let's hope so. Well, I guess if you're running away, the chances of the shooter hitting your backpack is probably pretty good.
Yeah, that's right.
Your butt can absorb a bullet. we had some people in Vietnam that were shot in the butt, and
yeah, that's right.
They survived.
But yeah. It's a sad reality that this is what you're forced to look at for protecting your children to go to school. Wow. Yeah. Mom, let's go shopping for preschool, or it's time to go school shopping. Oh yeah. First on the list is a bulletproof backpack for you. Yeah, wonderful.
Okay. From our text line 478-8298, Shane, is it true they found the 2 teenage suspects dead?
They did find them, and I believe it was in Manitoba, and they're doing autopsies to find out why I think it'll end up being exposure, but they did find them both.
They said close to their victims too. Were their victims nearby or something like that? They killed people, and
the original people were killed in British Columbia. Yeah, so
yeah, but I mean they were talking about they were either found close to their victims or maybe close proximity to where the victims were. But if they were in Manitoba, they were.
The reports have been mixed because they had reason to search a river there, and then. But anyway, the story is, they've been found, and they're both found dead. So.
Okay. And they think it was from exposure rather than they didn't shoot themselves or whatever.
Well, they didn't say. This is Canada,
Well, that's true. Yeah, you don't have CNN there to.
No.
Well, you do, but they've got one reporter, I think, that covers Canada.
Well, they're.
Yeah.
I don't think they were of age. I think one was 18. I think one was 16 and one was 18. So.
Yeah. Wow.
The RCMP won't release that information until the autopsy is completed. So
okay. So we'll find out what's going on. So, let's see. The half a dozen books my kid carries to school should stop a bullet. That's it.
There you go. Yeah.
Well, yeah, you need to put War and Peace in there. The Fountainhead.
Exactly.
Couple 2,000 or 3,000 page books that people
That's
write.
right.
So you'll be fine. Yeah. No, I think that's a great idea. Yeah, let's go with that. Let's see. Well, we want to talk a little bit about Peter Strzok. We were going to talk about it yesterday, but we didn't have a chance to get to that. But so he's suing for firing over anti-Trump texts, and I think he would have a case if he hadn't been investigating Trump.
Well, I think he would have a case too if Mueller wasn't the one who fired him.
Well, that too. So that when you have the Gold Star investigator, as we found out, the Gold Star, whatever special counsel, I should say. Yeah, yes, you got the Gold Star special counsel firing this guy. I mean, that should be enough for a judge right there. Who fired you? Mueller. Oh well, get out of my courtroom.
Yeah, exactly.
You're wasting
I think this is projection with the expectation what's coming, because I think the whole FISA thing is going to blow up in all of their faces. Very bad, very bad.
Well, his lawsuit accuses the agency of violating his First and Fifth Amendment rights by firing him over texts and then depriving him of due process to challenge his expulsion. And he argues the DOJ's decision to give the incendiary messages to reporters before handing them to Congress, creating blaring headlines, was deliberate and unlawful. And he may have a point there that they probably shouldn't have released those emails to the press. But
I don't know. You have the investigative general think he should be fired or retired, and have Mueller gets him off and out, and then you have Ray, who finally I think is the one who actually fired him. But it's just a sad commentary of where the FBI was with all of this, and it's regrettable.
Yeah. From our text line, 478-8298, the guy pulled a gun on a family in 2010. We're talking about the guy who assaulted the kid at the rodeo. Pulled a gun on a family in 2010. He was arrested, he was sentenced to 10 years and served none of them. Now he slams a 13-year-old to the ground, causing a head injury because Trump told him to, and the judge releases him on his own recognizances. This is crazy. So I don't know about that. So I guess. According to the USGS, since 1900, there have been 100 earthquakes registering M6 and 9 that reached the M7 designation. The last eruption attributed to seismic activity in Yellowstone occurred over 70,000 years ago. That being said, seismologists are concerned over the recent rise in activity at places like Steamboat Geyser, and according to seismic data, Yellowstone is 200 years overdue for a major earthquake. Brace yourself, Bozeman, and contact your local realtor board. Based on this information, home prices are way too high. Have a nice day, Steve-O. All right.
There you go.
So we're happy. So, see, now the public is already behind my idea here. We are down, man. All these earthquakes and things that are going on. I got to tell you. This is this is the way to do it. This is the way to do it. We'll have property values that I don't know. High school kids can buy them. Paper routes. All right. Let's see what else we got going on here. Well, we're talking about Peter, obviously, and he is. I don't know how that case will play out, though. He does have a right to his privacy, but I'm not sure emails how they fall into the privacy issue.
Well, yeah, but he was using a federal.
He's a federal employee. So normally, I guess if your emails, if you send them from your workplace.
Yeah, well, remember 4 or 5 years ago, there was that huge uproar about federal employees using their computers at work for looking at pornography. Remember?
Oh, yeah. So,
and that was supposedly caused to let people go.
I guess those are the non-essential personnel if they've got, they got time to look at that. So.
Yeah, they're the ones that show up at work when the government shut down because they have their porno addiction. Right?
Well, I guess they have to. Yeah, got to get to work because I've got my file here called IRS Do Not Open.
Yeah, exactly.
So we'll see. I don't know, but anyway, the other thing we need to talk about too is the White House is drafting an executive order to tackle Silicon Valley's alleged anti-conservative bias. So the White House is circulating drafts of a proposed executive order that would address allegations of anti-conservative bias by several social media companies, according to White House official and 2 other people familiar with the matter, a month after President Donald Trump pledged to explore all regulatory and legislative solutions on this issue. And I don't know if you've seen the Google disgruntled employee all over the place talking about how they influenced the election and how they plan to disrupt this one.
Of course, and they will. And you know they will.
Oh,
Google will do more damage to your elections than anyone. Russia, China, you know, some guy in Madagascar, you know, writing software or whatever. Yeah, it's a scary thing. I mean, Google's scary.
Yeah. Well, it is. There's no question about that. That they certainly have an inordinate amount of power. In fact, I've got a clip, and I'll see if I can transfer it from my computer over to the station computer.
Yes.
Where the former editor of Psychology Today says that Google probably gave Hillary 3 million extra votes just by sending a go vote message just to Democrats.
That's right. GNN, baby. Google News
go vote
Network.
now.
That's what's coming.
Go vote now.
Go Google News Network, buddy. GNN.
Well, that's what it is. And they were saying that, by targeting only Democrats who, and they would be easy to find because, you would just look at their Facebook page. If they're anti-Trump, they're probably Democrats. If they're pro-Trump, they're probably not. And you can certainly select who gets what with their algorithm. So if you wanted to send something out strictly to Democrats, Google could cover the nation very easily. And I would put a lot more faith in Google screwing up the election for Hillary than I would the Russians.
100%.
But
absolutely, it's
all right.
Not right.
We got
and they want regulation to stop anyone else from coming up with a new idea to compete with them. I mean, that's what they want.
Oh yeah, no, there's no question there.
Yeah.
All right, we got to take another break. We'll be right back with more. We've got Brian Law Firm, the Grizzly Encounter, and Wesley Financial coming up, so stay tuned. 21 minutes after the hour of 7 a.m. It's Thursday, August 8th, 2019, 63 degrees outside. From our text line, 478-8298. Tax cuts, I'm having a hard time reading this because it puts code in with the... when you do apostrophes and things like that, it puts the code in, not the apostrophe. So let's see, tax cuts and remove state deductions and LLC pass-through. Many people are paying more in taxes, $2 trillion, I guess. So, there were some tax changes made, so... Let's see, also from our text line, take the guns first, go through due process second. I like red flag laws, President Trump. Well, we talked about those a little bit yesterday, but we think certainly that that's a double-edged sword and a pretty slippery slope to go down if you start singling people out and taking their guns, and then, it's a pretty much a unconstitutional thing to do.
If it's done, it'll be challenged. But the bottom line is people have to have, habeas corpus, the right to habeas corpus, and the right to defend themselves. Yeah.
Well, Peter Strzok co-wrote the Comey memo that tanked Hillary 10 days before the election and gave Trump the win. I don't think it was 10 days before the election. I think it was like in October. Or
July 4th or 5th, right? That's when
I don't remember. But anyway, Trump should be kissing him. Well, I don't think the Comey memo had anything to do with Hillary since she got 3 million more votes than he did. So I don't think the Comey memo tanked anyone.
No, but I think Comey's announcement 2 weeks before the election that they were opening the case again because of Weiner's computer. Remember that?
Yeah.
That did more harm to her campaign than
But they came back later on that same week or a week later and said there's nothing here. So
a week before the election.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, there's nothing here. So So there's no doubt that Comey interfered with the election and did more harm to your election than the Russians did.
No problem. Yeah. Well, but by the same token, if you want to put something at Trump's feet, what about the Access Hollywood video or audio that came out a month before the election?
Well, I remember when this happened, the last month of the campaign, what Comey did and the announcements, new announcement, other than announcements. And I said, oh, my goodness, Comey's going to go down in American history as a hero for, getting Trump elected, right?
Yeah.
Boy, did I miscall that one?
Yeah, you did. But I mean, yeah, that Access Hollywood, that was the nail in his coffin, as far as, I mean, for everybody. It should have been anyway, but anyway, let's take a phone call. 522 Talk is the number. Caller, you are on the air. What's up?
Well, you were talking about the Yellowstone caldera and trying to lower Bozeman's property prices.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, if the caldera ever does blow, head north to Canada and Shane will put you up.
Yeah, I know. If I could get out in time, but I think most of Southwest Montana will be gone.
Yeah,
there's almost no. You're wrong, Tom. In the previous 3 eruptions, there's been almost no ash fall.
Oh, okay.
North of Great Falls.
Oh, all right. Well, was just going to be steam and hot water that's going to kill me?
It devastates the whole United States except for
North America.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Extinction event.
Yeah.
That'd be an extinction event.
Yeah, I was going to say the Bozeman will be beachfront property for the Pacific.
It'll be 18. It'll be like Pompeii.
Yeah, there you are. Hot ash. Yeah.
It'll have you in there encased in ash doing your show.
Mm.
Well, I wonder how South America would feel with 100 million Americans fleeing to South America to survive. That would be
pretty funny.
It would be any good to go. Even like Louisiana and Florida and California, they get covered in ash.
They would, it would be an extinction event for the Northern Hemisphere.
Look at the past maps of the caldera explosion.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So head to Canada. They need you.
Okay, I'm on my way. Yeah, Shane and I can do this show just as easily from his house as I can from here. So.
You'll have a lot of listeners, too.
That's right. We'll be set. Hey, thanks, Vinny. Let's take another call. 522 Talk is the number. Caller, you're on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's up?
Good morning, guys. This is Keith.
Keith, how are you?
I'm pretty good.
Yeah.
I've dedicated my life to warning people about the Yellowstone caldera.
Mm-hmm.
And I must pass this warning out right now. The next eruption of the Yellowstone caldera is closer now than it ever has been at any time in recorded history or even before recorded history. So be careful, folks. It could happen any time. It's closer now. In fact, it's going to be closer by the time I hang this phone up than it was when I started.
I was going to say, Keith, good thing we're in the sunset of our lives, huh?
Yeah.
We'll just see a bright flash and it'll be all over.
Yeah, Tom, you're wasting time. It's closer now than it was.
I know. I don't know what I'm doing here.
Thanks, guys.
Well, that should take the property values down dramatically, too.
Well, yeah.
It's working, Tom. It's working.
We got earthquakes and we got a potential eruption in Yellowstone. Why would anybody in their right mind want to pay $450,000 for a house to live here? I mean, that's just plain nuts. So.
And the only two places Americans have are the Virgin Islands, that territory, and the Solomons in South Pacific to survive. Good luck there.
Yeah. I was going to say, we'll all be living on islands somewhere because there won't be any mainland left. Well,
not the Northern Hemisphere.
Yeah. Well, the other thing we wanted to, let's take a phone call. We'll tease whatever we're going to do later. 522 Talk is the number. Caller, you are on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's up?
Hi, I'm a first-time caller. My name is Madison.
Oh, hi, Madison. Thanks for calling. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Are you really in Great Falls?
I'm from Great Falls originally, but I live in Bozeman now.
Oh, okay. All right.
Oh, fantastic.
Go for it. What's up?
I just had a comment about the supervolcano as well. I was reading an article the other day because of the earthquake, and it said that we have a few decades of like warnings before it blows, if anything. And if it does blow, that it might be similar to the eruption in Hawaii, just because of how many times it's blown before, the like molten lava underneath is getting harder, so it's like dying kind of.
Wow. Okay. Well, hey, thanks for the call. I got to go. I'm at the bottom of the hour, but hey, Madison, thanks for listening, and we appreciate your call. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Bye for now.
Bye.
All right. That's always good to get first-time callers and all that.
How great was that?
Yeah, that's terrific. All right. We've got to take a break, and we'll be right back. It is, 24 minutes before the top of the hour. I don't know what time it is.
It is. You're right.
It is. Right. I got it right. I don't know. I get confused between, real time and metric time that you're on.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, you got to add 32 minutes to everything. So, I want to talk a little bit about climate change because Shane and I came across some interesting info about climate change. For example, a single electric car battery weighs about 1,000 pounds. Fabricating one requires digging up, moving, and processing more than 500,000 pounds of raw materials and somewhere on the planet. And the alternative, use gasoline and extract 1/10 as much total tonnage to deliver the same number of vehicle miles over the battery's 7-year lifestyle.
Yeah, and then you have to dispose of it, which is even more of an environmental disaster.
That's true. When electricity comes from wind or solar machines, every unit of energy produced or mile traveled requires far more materials and land than fossil fuels. That physical reality is literally visible. A wind or solar farm stretching to the horizon can be replaced by a handful of gas-fired turbines, of each no bigger than a tractor trailer.
And I just wanted to let people know, and to date, the billions spent for solar power to your grid, and solar power produces 1.6% of the electricity on your power grid far. That's terrible.
Well, what a lot of people don't realize is that building just one wind turbine requires 900 tons of steel, 2,500 tons of concrete, 45 tons of non-recyclable plastic, and solar power requires even more cement, steel, and glass, not to mention other metals. Global silver and indium mining will jump 250% and 1,200% respectively over the next couple of decades to provide the materials necessary to build the number of solar panels the International Energy Agency forecasts.
And so where are you going to get all the mining equipment, because it'll have to be replaced?
Yeah.
There won't be any diesel to operate it, and mining, of course, environmental.
We'll go back like we did before we had mining machines. We'll do it by hand. World demand for rare earth elements, which aren't rare but are rarely mined in America, will rise 300 to 1,000% by 2050 to meet the Paris Green goals. And if electric vehicles replace conventional cars, demand for cobalt and lithium will rise more than 20-fold, and that doesn't count batteries to back up wind and solar grids.
That's right. So, it's an impossible accomplishment on a global basis. It just can't happen.
Yeah. The demand for minerals likely won't be met by mines in Europe or the U.S. Instead, much of the mining will take place in nations with oppressive labor practices. The Democratic Republic of Congo produces 70% of the world's raw cobalt, and China controls 90% of cobalt refining. And the Sydney-based Institute for a Sustainable Future cautions that a global gold rush for minerals could take miners into some remote wilderness areas that have maintained high biodiversity because they haven't yet been disturbed.
Yeah, and these are the policy discussions that need to be had, and it's a great article, and it's based on fact and numbers. There's nothing here that is negative.
Yeah, I don't think people realize that how much cement and steel and everything goes into those wind turbines, and also with all the things that have to go into into solar
Everything
panels.
else.
Yeah, solar panels and things like that. And as we've said many times, alternative energies are going to come. But, you know, Alexander Graham Bell and Watson didn't work on texting the day after they did the phone.
Very good.
You know. Edison didn't say, well, I got the light bulb, let's work on neon lights next.
Well, and you know, because of the nature of your grid, which is a national grid right now, you know, it's running at 105%. Mm-hmm. It's surprising there's not more blackouts. So, you know, when you start having a policy discussion about this, that like the real numbers, the whole plan falls apart. It just does.
That's true. From our text line, 478-8298, if Yellowstone blows, just climb up to the turbine, the palm trees in a hurricane, just like the palm trees in the hurricane. I haven't heard of anybody climbing palm trees to escape hurricanes. I'm not sure that. Is hurricane wind just low to the ground or what?
Well, the problem you have is the pyroglass cloud that'll be created that will bury Bozeman. So
well, that's the other thing that I'm thinking about.
People don't. Let's see. And all those homes are definitely worthless because now they're under 20 feet of ash.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's see. You realize the last break cut off the call from Madison when she started to talk. It's so frustrating to us listening. The way your programming is set up. Unfortunately, we are set up on a delay that we thought we had that problem fixed, but thankfully, all of the program is on our recordings. So you can certainly go to KMMSAM.com and find out about that. So we apologize. I will point this out once again to our programming crew that is supposed to take care of that, but I know on Radio Pup and some of the others, they operate on real time and not on our time. So let's take another break here. We'll be right back with more of the Morning Soapbox right after this. 15 minutes before the top of the hour. It's Thursday, August 8, 2019, 64 degrees outside. Shane Mataman on the line with me from Vancouver, British Columbia. Half man, half amazing. Tom Eagle off your morning mayor. And this is the KMMS Morning Soapbox. So let's go back to our text line. Let's see, how much copper wire goes into one of those big windmills? Well, that's another thing, too. You got to have something to get the electricity out, don't you, Shane?
And you need a generator, and that's what's, you know, up on top to produce the electricity. So a lot of copper wire. Yeah, he's right. Yeah.
From our text line, tide turbines are cool. They have small ones that work in creeks or cricks, depending on which side of the Mississippi you're on. Yeah. Creeks or cricks. Let's see. Trying to make sure we're up to date on our app chat line too as well. So
all right,
get you over there, and yeah. Well, we were talking earlier a little bit about climate change, and last year a Dutch government-sponsored a study concluded that the Netherlands' green ambitions alone would consume a major share of global materials. Or minerals, rather, not materials, but exponential growth in global renewable energy production capacity is not possible with present-day technologies and annual metal production, it concluded. And you can look to oil drilling. There was what's the name of the show? Rod Serling. Twilight Zone, yeah, where a guy he wanted to go back in time and make millions on oil, and went back in time, and he couldn't reach the oil that he knew about because the technology wasn't there yet.
Yeah, exactly.
So we couldn't go down that deep, and now I guess they can get oil from just about anywhere now. Any depth, they go in the oceans, natural gas all over the place. So. Well, as I've said many times, we couldn't have sped up the evolution of the automobile by shooting all the horses. So, these things take time. We all want our alternative energy. We want wind to work. We want the natural sun and wind to power our planet. But until we, until all of these systems evolve and we learn more, as I've said, if you can make a solar panel the size of a dime that produces the same solar energy that's the size of a Buick, then we might have something. If you put 10 dimes on your house, then it's no big deal, But
that's true.
And someday that'll happen. That'll be the thing, or your whole roof will be a solar panel.
Correct.
But it'll be very efficient, and you won't need to, even on cloudy days it'll work, or snow covered it'll work.
The electricity will be stored in your attic in batteries.
It'll be stored in a more efficient battery and rechargeable type battery and whatever. So this is all going to be worked out, but it's just going to take time as these companies become more efficient. Look at the automobile. We've come from the Model A to heated cup holders and heated seats and stereo sound and
air
conditioning and the whole 9 yards. So, it's evolution.
That's right.
Yeah. Which is our poll question of the day. Do you believe in human evolution? So go over and vote at KMMSAM.com and or on the smartphone at AM 1450 KMMS. Right now, the current results are, do you believe in evolution? No, 68% say no, and 18% say yes, and 12% say they're not sure of whether they do or not. So that's it. All right, we've got to take another break. Belgrade Dental wants to talk to you. Mercedes-Benz wants to talk to you, and the Grizzly Encounter wants to talk to you. So let's let those folks talk to you. What do you say? We'll be right back. 8 minutes before the top of the hour. Welcome back to the KMMS Morning Show with Tom and Shane, and we've got a caller waiting on the line. Let's go to the phones. Caller, you are on the air. What's going on?
Good morning, Tom and Shane. This is Jerry. I was just going to mention that if you want all kinds of solar power, especially if you wanted to make sure it covers the entire United States, most of the unoccupied property or land in this country would be one giant solar panel. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's in order to generate enough power. I missed the earlier part of the show. You were talking about earthquakes. Was there another one? Last night or yesterday?
No, we were talking about earthquakes because that's the way to lower property values here is to make this the earthquake center of America, and nobody will move here. Property values will plummet, and everybody can afford to live here.
Holy, gee, yeah. Tom, I didn't know you were that. Okay.
He's trying to be politically correct.
That's right,
and save everybody on their tax.
Well, and I caught I caught a little bit of the program when you were speaking about the caldera. They did years ago. They did a program on the what if that thing ever went off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I saw it. That was a great show, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but and it showed you where it wouldn't. On the lower 48, who wouldn't be affected? And it'd be about a spot of land in the northwest corner of Washington State, about as big as the city limits of Bozeman. Now, I can't imagine 330 million people trying to get to that spot.
Yeah,
good luck.
I was going to say,
and the funny thing is, I was living in West Yellowstone at the time, and the gate traffic went down to a trickle because I think people actually thought something was, going to happen.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
Well, as soon as the show's over, Shane and I are heading for Guatemala. We hear it's a wonderful place.
Well, it might be just as geologically active down there.
Well, that's true. I don't know where we're going to go. Death Valley, I guess, seems to be safe.
Yeah, an appropriate name, too.
Yeah, we'll find out, I guess. So.
Thanks for taking my
thanks for the call, man. Thanks for listening. Appreciate it. All right. So. Let's see, from our text line, 478-8298. Tom, you mentioned all the raw materials required to construct these windmills, electric cars, etc. How the hell are the Democrats going to excavate, mine, extract the materials necessary to construct construct these environmentally friendly alternative energy technologies when all the current equipment necessary to mine the required materials run on fossil fuels? So these darn Democrats can't even get out of their own way. So I wish they would just keep out of our way and out of our pocketbooks. Okay. Let's see. Your poll needs another option. Yes to evolution. Yes to evolution happens, and yes to God created both can exist. So, well, that's why we have a poll there. Take your pick as to which you think. So, you can make a case. Well, we don't know how long 6 days were at the beginning of the beginning of human beings. So it could be 6 million years for God to create the human being as he went through the various trial runs.
That's correct.
God says, well, I don't know, that Neanderthal, that's not exactly what I'm looking for. Let's tweak that. Let's tweak that a little bit, and we'll be okay. So I guess.
And by the way, the Neanderthals were wiped out by a super volcano, just for everybody's edification.
Oh, okay.
They proved that.
Yeah. Well, we've had some pretty volcanic disasters. Pompeii, somebody mentioned earlier, was one, obviously, that was pretty nasty. And, there's certainly been others in history, Tora, I guess, or whatever that was. And there's been a lot of Earth has retaliated pretty significantly against humans with disease and everything else. So it's... I don't know.
And today it wouldn't be politically correct to refer to it as Mother Nature, right?
No, we can't do that. So, let's see. So
can we just mention this? So I think it's important.
Sure.
Puerto Rico now has its new governor. It's taken 3 people to decide, and Pedro Pierluisi has been sworn in as governor, and. So he was replaced by Justice Secretary Wanda Vasquez. Now, the only reason I'm mentioning this is that Democrats don't bring this up because Trump warned everybody about the disaster politically in Puerto Rico because of the hurricane last year. Mm-hmm. And number 2, they don't want to bring it up because, oh my gosh, what if people in the inner cities of your cities of the United States start protesting and demanding their mayors resign, like, New York and Pennsylvania and Baltimore and Chicago and L.A. And, I mean, that could happen. And so this is an interesting, thing that happened in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, it really is. We're going to talk about that when we do the 5 things coming up at the top of the hour.
Yeah, that's a piece.
I was looking at this. Earlier we talked about the Montana man that attacked the 13-year-old, gave him a skull fracture because he wouldn't take his hat off during the national anthem and felt that Trump was in it. And I was looking through the stories on that. CBS News, New York Times, CNN, USA Today, Time, Yahoo News, Cleveland.com, USA Today, Slate, Omaha.com, AOL, Newsweek, New York Daily News, Detroit Today, the East Oregonian, Vice, Inside Edition. I mean, everybody's got this story, man. This 13-year-old kid. I don't know. Do you think he learned his lesson, or I'm going to take my hat off just in case there's a wacko near me.
If he didn't, when he's 20 years old, he can look back and read all about it again.
I know. Yeah, I guess. Well, unless his head injury prevents that, but let's hope not. Let's hope it's not a serious. It's not a serious injury. So, all right. Let's see. We got to go to the news at the top of the hour here. We still got a full hour of the morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane yet to go. So stay tuned for that. We'll have Montana news and Montana State news and Brady Brewster with the weather. So, I don't know where Foster is. She must be on vacation.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, she's at Yellowstone. Wait for it to blow. All right. Okay, we'll be right back after the news at the top of the hour, so stay tuned. Still a full hour to go. When we come back, we'll talk about the 5 things you need to know right after this. Welcome back to the final hour of Open. I almost said open. I
know you did.
I know. I almost said it. After 9 months. Welcome back to the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. Tom Eagle off your morning mayor, Shane Metalman, half man, half amazing. Phones are ringing off the hook. Let's take some calls and see what listeners are talking about. 522-TALK is the number, 522-8255. Caller, you are on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's up?
Well, this is Clint.
Clint, how you doing?
Well, I've been calling on this radio for 20 years now.
I know. I've been here for 20 years listening to you.
Yeah? I don't know. I may be full of it, but I've talked to a lot of the farmers and ranchers out here in the valley that have been my friends forever, you know.
Right.
I mean, a lot of them, not just 2 or 3, but a lot of them.
Yeah.
And this jail issue, they don't want this jail. And the reason being is...
You talk about the Law and Justice Center?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And the reason being is they're not sure on what's going to happen with their grains and their price of grain and one thing another, and their taxes are absorbent already.
Yep.
And it's not the right time at all. And the thing is, most people don't understand is this affects the renter as well as the landowner.
Oh, it does. No question about it. If values go up, if the landlord's got to pay more in taxes, that's passed down to the renter. And
the thing is, the city of Bozeman, they've already voted in their new safety center, so that's a big bond issue there for about $40 million, right at 40.
And you got the high school on top of that, and they want to add another $200 park fee to you. That 16 pizzas a month. So,
well, the thing is, I got a suggestion for the county. They're going to have meetings now. Of course, the law requires that. But they're going to have meetings to talk this up about getting a new Law and Justice Center. Well, I want to tell the county commissioners this. When the city gets their buildings done, okay, and their safety center down there on Rouse, when they get it done, they're going to vacate a great big space in the Law and Justice Center now.
Well, I don't know how big that space is going to be.
Over 10,000 square feet.
Well, I don't think the police had that much room because they were hanging their uniforms in the bathrooms.
Well, did you see their courts?
Well, the courts are a different situation from the police.
That's what I'm saying.
But yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Their courts will go down to the new safety center, the city courts. Okay? Let's wait. I'm trying to use some common sense here now. Let's wait and see how much room we have left in the Law and Justice Center, okay, to maybe house another courtroom. Now, the way I got it figured, upstairs in the Law and Justice Center, I think the clerk of the court and stuff was the clerk and recorder's up there, clerk of the court, could move downstairs, and that whole side could be used for another courtroom.
Could be. I know Marty. There's no room for Marty Lambert there. He's over on College.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right there. Well, where he's at is fine. There's nothing wrong with where he's at.
Well, he just says it would be more expeditious if he were in the same building to interview, people that the police have and whatever, or make deals with criminals for reduced sentences or whatever.
Yeah.
Bail.
Yeah, bail and that too. So.
What have you looked at your tax bill?
Oh yeah.
Okay, how much more is it going to cost you, Tom?
Well, it's not that
based
much.
Based on the taxable value now.
Yeah. Mine didn't go up as much as other people did because of where I live, obviously.
I know, but you're still going to pay.
Oh yeah, I'm going to pay. Yeah. I already paid this year's. So.
Okay. Well, what is your estimated value that you'll have to pay for the new Law and Justice Centers if it was voted in?
Oh well, I don't have any idea what the percentage would be, but I would assume I got to pay for it. I got to pay for the high school, and I've got to pay for the safety center.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and the $200 for the clean the parks.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Tom has to go to Costco to buy lasagna instead of ordering a pizza now.
That's right. I can't. Yeah, I can't have a pizza.
You're going to have that $1 taco.
I got to go to Top Ramen.
Well, the thing is, they cry. Everybody cries about not having an affordable housing out here for the service workers and the people that are serving the more wealthier people. Well, what's this going to do to them?
Mm-hmm.
See, they don't stop and think about this. They've got to start thinking more about the people instead of, well, we need this or we need that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and they'll come back at me and say, well, we need this, Clint. Well, we don't need this. They used to have court, for Christ's sakes, in bars. Mm-hmm. In the early days, they used to hold courts in the bar.
Yep. That's
and they held them wherever they had to.
Mm-hmm.
And today we're so sophisticated, that we have to have this and we have to have that. Mm-hmm. And guess who pays for it? The poor people always pay for it. And the businesses downtown, just think what's going to happen to them.
Yeah.
Okay, they got the safety center already. Mm-hmm. They got the high school already, law and justice center. What are those businesses going to do downtown that are paying rent to a landlord? And what's the landlord going to have to do but raise the rents? What's it going to do to the business? It may take some of the businesses out.
Well, it probably will. Yeah.
See, that's the thing.
Well, that's the unintended consequences that these people don't think about, Clint.
I know it. How come I think about it? Am I stupid?
Well,
what the hell's the matter with me? How come I think about these things?
Come on, Clint, you got to be excited after what we talked about. Montana will have to shift back to mining again just to provide the needed minerals for the new Green Deal. So there'll be lots of jobs and more people will be moving to Montana.
Well, it's like my friend Bill Black said, and I'm the same way. I've made it through the 6th grade, see?
Yeah.
If you make it through the 6th grade, well, I guess you got it wired.
Well, you can at least read and write, right?
Huh?
You can at least read and write.
Well, I'm like you, Tom. I've been through 2 colleges. One through the front door and the back door.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it doesn't matter anymore what kind of education you have. Mm-hmm. It seems to me like that the dollar keeps ruling everything. And these people out here, the law requires the county commissioners to have all of them be in unison in order to put it on the ballot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I hope there's one smart county commissioner out there that'll say no. I really hope so until we see how much room is left after the city leaves. Now,
it's not their money, Clint. It's not their money. They don't care.
Yeah, well, they better care about us people or they ain't going to be in office.
Yeah.
They'll be voted out of office. They
not
better
likely.
They better start looking at their whole card.
Yeah.
I represent a hell of a lot of people in this valley, and they better think twice.
Well, that's why we have this radio station. I'm thankful that we do because people can voice their opinion on these things and
that's good.
how we don't have a dog in the fight being here. I mean, obviously I got my own personal opinions about the Law and Justice Center and all of that, which I'm not going to tell people how to vote, certainly, but I'm certainly open to, if there's a good reason to have it.
Well,
I'm not 522 talk.
I'm not really telling them not to vote.
No, I understand that. I'm
saying let's wait.
Mm-hmm.
Let's wait and see. Let's wait another year, and let's see what happens with the Law and Justice Center. When the city moves out and the city courts move out and go into their new building, then let's take and decide what we need to do.
Mm-hmm.
That's my suggestion. Whether it's worth a damn or not, that's what I suggest.
Okay.
And thanks for the time.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it.
All right.
And see you later. And Shane, if the volcano goes off, get another bed so Judy and I have a place to sleep.
Right. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, we got 2 extra rooms.
Yeah, we're all going to move in with Shane. Let's see. From our text line 4788298, do you suppose the Democrats will now work to reduce mining regulations so we can lead the world in the development of alternative energy? After all, we've only got 12 years left.
That's right.
Well, I don't know. Al Gore back in 2009 said we had 10 years left. I think we're out of time right now. I don't know. Let's see. The secret to our energy dilemma lies under the right paw of the Sphinx.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's information you don't get on these other radio stations.
That's right.
For
Nobody
sure.
else talks about it.
Well, the other day when Pete called, he was talking about the solar electromagnetic pulse. I bought 6 bags of dog food. Now we're talking about the calendar blowing. Should I take the 6 bags back? Well, you may want to think about that because I don't know.
Take them back and buy a big umbrella.
That's right. Yeah. Get yourself one of those. What we need is volcano-proof umbrellas is what we need.
That's what I'm suggesting,
Yeah, they've supposedly got this razor-thin stuff to put in backpacks, I guess, that are supposed to stop bullets and everything.
Yeah,
so let's make umbrellas out of those and see how that works. So,
exactly.
Man, we're in trouble here, Shane.
I know.
Our days are numbered, like Keith said.
Well, with or without a catastrophe, our days are numbered. Everyone.
Well, that's true. Well, I certainly hope we get to the end of the show before it blows.
Me too.
We don't care if Aaron Flint makes it or not. But
all I know is you'll hear it before I do.
Well, yeah, probably will. I was going to say, yeah. I'll talk about turbulence in an airplane.
Yeah, exactly.
I think I'll be fine. I think I'll be flying up to the ceiling out of my bed.
Yeah, and when I watch the roof panels in your office that start falling on Skype, I'll know you're in trouble.
That's right. Yeah, if you see the room start to cave in, you'll know things are not good here.
All I can do is wave. Goodbye.
Yeah, goodbye. Well, I don't know. Well, it's going to blow at night. It won't blow during the day where we got a chance to get in our cars and go somewhere. It's going to blow at night when we're all in bed.
Well, yeah, you get in your car, go to the ATM, take out as much American money as you can, and head to Canada, baby.
Yeah, look at all the earthquakes we've had. Almost all of them been in the middle of the night, or sometime after dark. So I don't know whether the cooling of the earth has anything to do with that. It's probably climate change what's doing it.
Yeah, that's right.
Let's see. Shane is competing with Sean Hannity to be the 4th Mrs. Trump, so his opinion is slanted. Tom, have you read the Mueller report? Well, I know Shane read it, so
I read it.
Yeah. That's his job.
My job.
Yeah. Well, what am I supposed to glean from the report?
Exactly
what the 10 things of the 10 obstructions of justice that are supposedly in there that Jennifer Bordy, even she poo-pooed all of those.
Exactly.
We went over them on one of her shows, and even she kicked them to the curb. So let's go to the phones. 522-TALK is the number. Call you on the air. What's up?
Well, wasn't California supposed to have a major disaster earthquake 30 years ago?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and as far as what Clint's talking about, but you got to remember the people in office, they still got that child thinking, I want.
Right.
Now, mom.
Right.
Okay, why ain't your frickin' mom, you little taxing mojitos? So anyways, that's how I feel on that, and it's true.
Yeah.
They're gonna put too much tax burden on the people. The housing's too expensive, and they don't have the support for the people that work normal jobs. And you know what? You can't use every student because students are going to school, and students go ahead and take summers off.
Yeah.
So,
but they vote when they're here. That's the issue.
Well, they just need to tone down my spending my money.
Yeah. Bye. All right, man. Thanks for the call. All right, we got to take a quick break. We'll be right back. 22 minutes after the hour of 8 o'clock, Shaman Taubman, half man, half amazing in Vancouver, British Columbia. Tom Eagleoff, your morning mayor, and this is the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. We're looking for a high of about 85 degrees today, but it's going to rain. It's going to rain tonight. It's going to rain for the next 4 days. So prepare yourself. To the To the texter who said, Tom, have you read the Mueller report? No, but I did watch the Mueller testimony, if that makes any difference. So that was pretty interesting. Do you depend on Shane for honest view of the Mueller report? I suggest you read it and see how crooked the Trump regime is and how the Russians wanted Trump. Well,
but the bottom line to all this, and everyone keeps forgetting, is that when the Weissman #1 wrote the report, and when it was completed, they didn't make any referral to the Department of Justice for any criminal charges.
Yeah.
So Mueller did not see any way that you could refer any of these claims of obstruction of justice as having broken the law and justified a criminal referral. So that's what the Mueller report said. So, people that take it otherwise don't understand what was the job of Mueller in the first place.
But Mueller also said that it didn't exonerate the president either. But obviously that's not the job of the,
That's right.
It's not, the Mueller report wasn't to clear Trump of anything.
No.
It was to find out if Trump colluded with the Russians to fix the election. And
if he did, was there enough there to refer to the Justice Department a criminal request,
right.
Criminal charge?
And he could have been criminally charged after serving office because of the DOJ guideline there. So, all right, let's take a phone call. 522-TALK is the number. Caller, you are on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's up?
Oh, yeah.
I love it.
These courthouses, these government offices, this crap is just freaking ridiculous. If we ever spend a dime on these damn buildings, they should be General Steel buildings.
There you are, yeah.
These problem with these governments, whether it's cities abusing the crap out of their residents, the citizens are what matter. We pay for everything. There's no problem with the cops having the nice cars and the nice computers and the nice 911 center. Everything else should be the dirt cheapest thing available. And it should be mandatory that it's made here at the dirt cheapest price available. Not in China, not foreign crap, not shipped here from other states. We might waste so much money on this stuff, and all the poor people just get poorer. And the government people get the higher paychecks, the quicker raises, they vote for their own frickin' raises. Everything is backwards. They need to be in barns. That's where they should be. These government, you complain about the cops hanging their shirts in some poor little restroom? Oh, dear God. Poor things. It's a uniform. Does it deserve a down comforter to lay on? I mean, come on, people. It's just ridiculous. I got to get back to work so I can barely survive this ballot.
All right, man. Thanks for the call. All right. That was an excellent call. Excellent call. Excellent call.
I would rate that as a number 10 rant.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah. In response, do you depend on Shane's for an honest view of the Mueller report? No, because it doesn't matter what I think about the Mueller report. What matters is what the listeners think about the Mueller report. Either they accept it or they reject it. It's not my job to sit here and say, oh, you got to believe the Mueller report because it's gospel or whatever. I don't really care. One way or the other. It was roundly dismissed by everybody in Congress once they read it. Well, they didn't read it. They didn't. How many went to read it? I don't think anybody went to read the redacted version. And
unlike Struck, being a Canadian, I can read it and report it without any bias. Right?
I was going to say
I don't have a dog in the fight.
Yeah,
so
whoever's president has absolutely no bearing on you at all, other than USMCA maybe. That's the only thing. But you don't care about our conflicts here at all. So
that's right. And real quick, by the way, the market's up 121 today, and so I'm not trying to take credit, but as I said to you, there wasn't a correction in the last few days. It was a sell-off from Asia. Every major market in Asia took all the cash they sold in the last few days on the U.S. markets and now everyone's up major.
Yep.
Like so, they sold American stocks, and now they're all buying their stocks because of the American dollar and how strong it is. So there you go.
Yeah,
folks.
everything across the board is green right now that I'm looking
Europe,
at anyway.
Asia, everything.
Yeah, everything is up there. Yeah,
so global traders sold off American stocks to have the cash because the American dollar is stronger to buy stocks in their countries. That's what went on, folks.
Okay. 522 Talk is the number. Let's go to the phones. Caller, you're on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's up?
Hi, Tom. It's Joel.
Hey, Joel.
Hey, Joel.
My daughter went to work for a government agency a few years ago, and she never had worked for one, and told me this, but I'll preface it first. What's they're asking you and everybody listening, when we get an account with our money in it, do we try to get rid of all of it at a given time just because we got it? So what she told me was that at the end of their period, to get the same amount of money given back to them for the next trip around, they had to find some way to get rid of that money.
Yeah.
And they were told to do that. And I think that's indicative of all government spending. That it's not the way we operate, but that's why money is just
it's totally wasted. You know.
Yeah, It's a stupid concept, but the whole system is set up that way.
All right. Hey, thanks for the call. I'll give you the answer to that dilemma when we come back, because I've got a plan on how to deal with that. So
another
plan today. Yeah, you'll be excited. You're going to be excited to hear this. When we come back, I will solve that problem and save the American people billions. We'll even pay down the debt. All right, we got to. We got the Fox News. We got Montana State News. We got the weather. We got Gesundheit. We got all kinds of stuff coming here. Credit Karma and Ben Shapiro. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. 23 minutes for the top of the hour. Shane Taubman on the line. Half man, half amazing. Tom Eagle up your morning mayor. Welcome back to the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. We're talking about. From our text line, 478-8298, look at Hillary's polls after the Comey letter, hockey stick, denial is not a river. Well, I suggest you go over to YouTube and look at election night coverage, and you will see that Hillary was up 10 points in virtually every battleground state that Trump ended up winning. So please don't throw polls at me. Based on the Comey letter, or Trump's the only president that's never been above 50% anytime in his term.
Short political career.
Right. So I'm not sure I'm gonna take the polls as gospel. So unless Shane tells me they're right, of course. Then I'll have to accept them as is. So anyway, but Hillary had a lot of people to blame, except herself, for losing the election. I mean, when you have the two most unlikable candidates to ever run for public office for the presidency, it's pretty hard. Talk about picking the lesser of the two evils.
Yeah, that's right. Well, when you're in a debate with the guy you're running against says, if I was in charge, you'd be in jail.
Right,
that's a tough line to answer, right?
I tell you, that won the election right there.
Yeah, it did, yeah.
That's like Reagan telling Mondale, I won't hold your youth and inexperience against you.
Against you, exactly. It is a one-liner, baby.
A one-liner wins it, or you're no John Kennedy.
That's right.
That one-liner in a debate can win the election for you. And Trump, I think, did it there. If I was in charge, you'd be in jail. So.
That's right. And Reagan, I paid for this microphone. I want to use it.
Yeah. There you are. Yeah. Well, and also too, I was really surprised during the Democratic. I'm sorry, I made a major mistake right there.
They're not the Demolition Party.
No, they're the Democrat Party. They're not the Democrat Party.
Yeah.
Democrats are not Democrats. No. So, I'm sorry, I misspoke. But I was surprised at the Democrat debate. The hecklers.
Yeah, wasn't that incredible?
Yeah, those people. Those people aren't heckled. They weren't sure what to do. Biden's sitting there going, Don Lemon saying, "Go ahead." He's going, "Wait a minute, people are yelling at me. I don't understand. That's never happened before."
But yeah, Biden looked up and like, "What did I say wrong?"
Yeah. 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 Where'd these people come from?
Yeah, that's right. How'd they get in the hall?
How'd they get in here anyway? How'd you let them in? So, yeah. Well, and I don't know. The other day, of course, we played a little clip of they call themselves the Democratic Socialists of America, and of course they're subject to sensory overload and no gender pronouns. Please don't use gender pronouns when addressing people. What are you supposed to call them? Z and G?
Yeah,
and no clapping, no applause.
And they had a safe room that they said, "Please don't overcrowd it."
Yeah, right. Yeah, we don't want to have to open another safe room.
Yeah.
All right, we got to take another quick break. I know you want to hear about Windows by Anderson and Buffalo Restoration and Wesley Financial. We'll be right back. 16 minutes for the top of the hour. It's Thursday, August 8th, 2019. And, boy, one more day till Friday, Shane. What do you think?
Yeah, baby.
I'm ready for that. How about you?
Me too. I love Fridays.
Yeah, me too. Let's see. There's a couple things, I think, locally that we didn't talk about. The downtown restaurant, Blackbird Kitchens, is going to open a bar next door. Right, right next door to the Blackbird Kitchen, if you haven't been in there. And they're going to have a door between the two, I guess, and they'll serve, small plates of food over there, I guess, and beverages for adults only, and they'll have a high old time there. So you can go to either place and have an excellent meal there. The other thing we wanted to talk about for any visitors to the Gallatin Valley who might be listening to me, who is going to take a trip to Yellowstone, Yellowstone officials are warning about you can't pet the bison. They're not. This is not a petting zoo at West Yellowstone. Please don't pet the bison. Don't go anywhere near the bison. And they have a picture of a guy reaching over a fence, petting the bison, and the bison moving away. But you could just as easily, the bison's not going to let that fence stop him. He wants to get you, so please. Yeah, don't do that. These are wild animals. They're not tame animals. They're not used to people being around. They go where they want to go, and people are just an intrusion on their land. So by all means, they will protect their young. They have no problem knocking you down. We all saw the video of the little girl being thrown up in the air, here the other day by a bison, and yeah. So please, if you're from out of town or out of state or wherever, and you're listening to me now on the way to West Yellowstone, stop and think.
and don't get out and talk to the bears or the elk, okay?
Yeah, please don't.
They don't hear you.
Yeah, they are looking for dinner, and you're the closest, easiest thing to get to. So please, Buffalo won't eat you; they'll just kill you.
That's right.
So it's a good deal there. So by all means, let's go over there. So the other thing we talked about was the Montana man who threw the teen to the ground. Fractured his skull because he wouldn't take his hat off for the national anthem, said Trump made me do it. And we'll have Jennifer Bordy on tomorrow, and I'm gonna send her all the info on this so she can read up on it, and we'll find out what exactly assault is and whatever as we go through the day. But this is quite a story here. Not a Vietnam vet, I think, but a veteran anyway. Had a car accident and a head injury in 2000. Pulled a gun on somebody back in 2010, I guess. But apparently, is very patriotic when it comes to the national anthem. So I don't know why you just couldn't slap the hat off, but I don't think you need to grab the kid by the throat and put him on the ground. But I don't know, a 13-year-old kid, you think of, well, that's not maybe it's high school age. I mean, you'd be a freshman in high school, so you'd probably be, when I was a freshman in high school, I was 6 feet. So, that was... that was kind of I'd be adult looking, I would say, at least. but I don't know. Some people are going overboard, aren't they, Shane? On some of these things here, take a knee and throw people down, and I don't know where our patriotism of our country has gone.
Well, yeah, that's the whole argument, and that's why Trump is so popular, because he is a populist, and he does believe in the country, and he loves the people of America, and the Democrats don't know how to deal with that. Yeah. That's just the bottom line. Right?
That they don't. Let's go to the phones. 522 Talk is the number. Call you on the air. What's up?
Hello.
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh my gosh, I'm on the line.
You're on the line. Yes.
All right, Tom and Shane. Woo. Anyway, I have to give a big shout out to Debbie Smith. She has been the manager at the Medical Arts Building for many years.
Yes, she has. Yeah.
She is retired.
Oh, yeah, really? All right.
Yeah.
Good for her.
She always made sure that the vets, because we had an afternoon meeting, always made sure we had lunch.
Yeah.
Just a great person. Just want to give her a shout out because
good for
awesome
her.
Person. Yeah.
And good for you.
Yeah. Good.
Well, thank you very much.
All right. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it.
Have a good day.
Yeah. Thanks for listening. We appreciate it. All right. Bye-bye. Caller, you're on the air. What's going on?
Yeah, we have a real crisis here in the Constitution that apparently you're not aware of.
Okay.
All right. You ready?
I'm ready.
Got your Constitution handy there, Shane?
He got it. He's got it right there. He's holding it up as we speak.
All right, Article 1, the third paragraph, it says about how the representative has to be at least 25 years of age.
Right.
And who shall not. Hey, well, first of all, before I say this, we've got to get a hold of Tester and get him out of Montana. You'll see why in just a minute here.
Mm-hmm.
It says here, and who shall not, when elected, be an inhabitant of that state in which he shall be chosen. Shall not be an inhabitant of the state in which he shall be chosen. And it says the same thing on the next page about the senators. My sister picked up I thought there must be a misprint here. My sister picked up a Constitution from the...
So once you're elected, you can't come back?
No, well, you can't. In other words, all of our representatives are inhabitants of the state from which they were elected, but that's against this.
Against the Constitution. You want to check that out, Shane?
Hey,
Article 1, Section 2, Number 2. That's what no person shall be a representative who shall not be attended to the age of 25 years and been 7 years a citizen of the United States, and who shall not, when elected, be an inhabitant of the state in which he shall be chosen.
What the hell kind of Constitution have we got?
All right. Well, hey, as I've said many times, you don't find that stuff out on these other shows. So thanks for that, Joel.
I even called the librarian. I haven't heard back from her. Somebody, all you have to do is take that not out of there, and then it's correct.
Yeah.
But he slipped that in there and is laughing his damn head off.
All right. Well, okay. I guess it's okay to show him the door.
We got to kick him out. We got to get somebody from Wyoming or North Dakota to represent us.
That's right. Now we're talking.
Get started. Okay.
Thanks, man.
Bye.
All right. All right. We got the Rush update coming up. Here's Rush. 4 minutes for the top of the hour. Shane Matobin on the line with me. Tommy Golf, your morning mayor. Welcome to the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's up, Shane?
I just want to tell the person that called before he misinterpreted. It says who shall not be an inhabitant of the state in which he shall be chosen. Meaning, you can't be living in New York and run for senator or Congress in Montana. That's basically. Now, in the Confederation of Canada,
you can live anywhere.
You can all you have to do is own property in a riding to be able to run in that riding without living there. So, yeah, it's a good part of your Constitution, actually.
Okay. Well, it sure sounds like once you're elected, you got to get the hell out.
Yeah, right.
Let's see. From our text line, where are we here? Let's go back here. Why don't we get someone to run for Maryland?
Exactly.
Rosenthal. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Maybe the kid who was accosted by the guy at the rodeo, maybe the kid was setting it up. Maybe his mom told him that they could sue the guy. Well, first of all, you have to know the guy and make sure he's got any money.
Yeah, that's right. That's probably
sue him. And yeah, so, yeah, I guess if you know him and he had some bucks, could be a setup. So I don't know. Anyway. Let's see. It pretty well cleans up our text line right now. So that's good because we're just about out of time. Sometimes we have all kinds of texts and I can't get to them all by the time we got to say goodbye. So we got about a minute left here before we have to do that. So I guess you were talking at the beginning of the show, Shane, before we went on the air, about the rhetoric coming out of the from these two shootings from the Democratic Party.
Oh yeah,
that Castro's brother, his twin brother, and they are twins. Boy, if you ever see these two guys together, the only way you can tell them apart is the one not running's got a beard.
But he's a congressman.
Yeah, I know. And but he's running the Castro campaign, his brother is, and released a bunch of people who donated to Trump, and some of them also donated to Castro. So he's kind of setting up his own people to be accosted by these folks. But I don't know, these boycotts and all this stuff, just because you don't like the guy, wait till 2020 and vote him out. It's that simple. You know?
Yeah, but what I heard on I watch all these television shows all day long because I have to do it for our show. But the rhetoric from these people, these talking heads, is so negative and destructive. You know, they're the ones that are angling this whole idea about racism and hatred. And they're projecting all this negative language on television, and the people running these companies are allowing them to do it. It's not a good thing, Tom. It really
bad.
Is. Yeah. It's all hate speech. They're the ones creating all the hatred and anger.
There you are, man. Hey, say goodbye, Shane.
Goodbye, Mayor. Talk to you tomorrow on Friday. Everyone be happy, be safe.
All right. Thanks, Shane. All right. We got to go, and we thank everybody. Thanks for all the texts and the input and the phone calls and everything. Pretty interesting today. We've been through a lot of things, and we will continue it all tomorrow, and Jennifer will be in. We'll ask him about the assault thing on the little kid. Well, I don't know how little he is, but anyway, 13. So we'll check with her tomorrow, and we'll see everybody bright and early tomorrow morning, 6 a.m.